Welcome to part 2 of our How to Map Data extended series. We'll pick up right where we left off, mapping operating expenses. Office equipment, I'll put into the office equipment category. Salaries and wages, I will put into the salaries other category. SurvivalWare splits it up from officers and all others so that you can track how much it costs to employ your managers versus your other workers. Then you've got this FUTA, SUTA, FICA, MICA expenses. And these are all payroll taxes, so I'll put those there. Then we've got ADP payroll and ADP fees. And that's actually a company that we outsource our payroll management to. So that could be put into benefits, but I'm actually going to put it into the outside services category. And unemployment tax, on the other hand, I am going to put into the benefits category. Then we have this payroll expenses other, and I'm going to put this into the miscellaneous category. Which is a great category when you don't know where things belong. And then casual labor, a few contractors. Well, this can also go into the outside services category. So I'll highlight them and then drag and drop those into the outside services category. Product and equipment, I'll put into the office equipment category. And postage, well, there's a postage category, though it may not be used quite as much nowadays. And then these other ones, FedEx, UPS, and other mailings, will actually go into the delivery costs category. So I scroll up for that. It's right under contributions and map. And this petty cash here will have to go into, well, I'll put this into miscellaneous. Printing and reproduction. This is one that's pretty close to advertising, so I'll put it in there. And consultant, that's another outside service. So I'll drag and drop. I saw a separate accounting line item in SurvivalWare earlier at the top, so I'll scroll up and put accounting over there. Legal fees, hopefully this is a category that doesn't have too much activity in it, but sometimes it does. We have a legal category in SurvivalWare. And we've got some other professional fees, so this will go into outside services. Promotional expenses, that's another advertising and marketing type of category. And then rent, luckily there's a rent and occupancy category, so we can locate that on the right. And then drag and drop. And it looks like we got federal, state, local, fees, other. Those are all taxes, so I'm going to highlight these three and drop them into the taxes-miscellaneous category. Entertainment, there is a separate meals and entertainment category, so I can put entertainment there. So I'll take this communications line item and put it into the telephone category. And then this next one is meals. And we'll go back to the meals and entertainment category we had and put that there. The reason that meals and entertainment are separated from these other travel categories like airline, rental car, hotels, etc. is because meals and entertainment are not tax deductible, whereas some of those other ones are. So that's kind of, the idea is to mix and match depending on what has certain ramifications. So I'm going to highlight all these travel expenses here and put it into the travel category. And then looks like we have one thing left in our income statement, and that's the electric bill, which we'll put into utilities. And so now we see that we have our entire income statement with operating expenses, cost of sales and sales, all mapped from our data that we exported and into SurvivalWare. And now the next thing to do is the balance sheet items. But first let's save. So I click the save button and I'll save this as acme.srm. It's always a good thing to save frequently. This is my first save, but of course I'm trying to look through. And now let's do the balance sheet. I'll put these two bank accounts into the cash category, accounts receivable into the accounts receivable category, inventory asset into the inventory category. And then I've got two notes receivable here, one from Joe Plumber and one from some other place. And what it looks like is a few fixed assets, some furniture, office equipment, and work vehicle that I can put into the fixed assets gross category. So I'll take this accumulated depreciation and drag it over to the less accumulated depreciation category, and take the fixed assets other to the fixed assets gross category. And now we're done with our assets. And so we can go now into the liabilities section of our balance sheet, take over accounts payable, N/P, that's notes payable, and then a federal withholding payable we can put into the payroll taxes payable category. The FICA, MICA, FUTA, SUTA payable. Let's highlight all these taxes, not sales tax. And we'll also put these in the payroll tax category. And then there's a separate sales tax payable category. And then we have this notes payable that's from Uncle Ned. And this is actually a long-term debt, but he's a good guy and we know he will pay us off sometime. And so now we're done with our liabilities, and we move on to the equity section of our balance sheet. Put paid in capital into the other paid in capital category of SurvivalWare. Opening balance equity, drag that over to open balance equity. Capital stock will go into common stock. And retained earnings will go into retained earnings prior year. And then this net income, which we had mentioned before, will go into the retained earnings current year category. And that is all the categories that we need to map. Now there are these other data items that are categories in SurvivalWare that if we wanted to, we could come up with some categories from our data and map those to there. However, for our purposes now, a balance sheet and an income statement is just fine, and we can scroll up and down and see how wonderful it looks that all these things have been mapped in there. Everything from our equity to our cost of sales and our sales is now mapped. Now we can press the next button, and voila! No errors detected. That's a good thing. Thanks for watching.